As we were. Six more members of the Oath Keepers have been convicted for their roles in the January 6th insurrection. A federal jury found all of them guilty of entering or remaining in a restricted building or grounds. In addition, 4 were found guilty of conspiring to obstruct an official proceeding. The judge ordered jurors to continue deliberating over the most serious counts against the other 2 defendants. Joining us now, NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley. He's been following the January 6th investigation since the very beginning in these cases specifically. Ryan, good morning. So tell us some more about these latest convictions and how they are a little bit different from the previous ones we've seen with the Oath Keepers.
That's right. So the first 2 Oath Keepers trial involved charges of seditious conspiracy, and this trial didn't involve those. It's also been a lot less high profile as a result. And I think also because of the fact that there's an unfolding Proud Boys trial happening in the D.C. federal courtroom right now. So you have these, 2 competing sort of trials, and the second Oath Keepers seditious conspiracy trial also overlapped with that other trial against members of the Proud Boys. So there's been a lot of activity at the courtroom, and there's been occasions where I've been sitting in on some of these cases and have been the only reporter and only person in the room because there's just so many of these cases that we're sort of churning through right now. But these individuals, 3 of them, or rather 4 of them, were convicted of the top charge of obstruction of an official proceeding, and that was Sandra Parker, Laura Steele, Connie Meggs, and William Isaacs. There are 2 other individuals who the jury was still deliberating on that top charge for, but they were convicted of sort of just like the base level charge, which is being present essentially on restricted grounds of the U.S. Capitol. The 2 individuals who were convicted of that didn't actually go inside the building, but they were one of thousands of people who were outside, and that's just sort of the layup case that you can get against anyone. In fact, if you wanted to charge thousands of people with that, you could charge that against them because all of them are universally guilty of it. But ultimately, we might not end up with a more serious charge against those 2 defendants, including Michael Green, who had actually testified on behalf of Stewart Rhodes during the first Oath Keepers trial.
So, Jay Johnson, we touched on this earlier in the show, but juries are returning convictions in these cases around the attack on the Capitol on January 6th. Stewart Rhodes, that Ryan just mentioned, the head of the Oath Keepers, was convicted of seditious conspiracy. There are cases still pending out there against members of the Proud Boys, also for seditious conspiracy. Very serious charges.
Yes, and there's something to be said for investigating and possibly prosecuting not just those who took to the streets, not just those who broke into the Capitol building, but those who incited the insurrection. January 6th was the very definition of an insurrection. In my view, it's in the national interest that in prosecuting these cases, we call it what it was. We read that the special prosecutor is contemplating charges for obstruction of the unofficial proceeding, fraud. This was an insurrection. Let's call it what it was. And the insurrection statute punishes not just those who participate in the insurrection, but those who incite it and give aid and comfort thereto. So in investigating former President Trump and others around him, I think we really do have to call it what it is. I think it's in the national interest that we call it what it is.
That's what makes this moment dangerous, Joe.
Well, and the thing is, so here, do you know what you call this, what we're watching right now? It's a technical term. So for those of you not in television, I can understand what you don't understand, like you've never heard what we call this. We call this video, okay? We have a lot of video. And in the post-truth world that Donald Trump inhabits and his supporters inhabit, and people on cable news television that want to defend him inhabit, this video is held by millions and millions of people, especially because of social media. So if you lie about what happened on January 6th, if you try to redefine it as, and try to redefine Jonathan Lemire saying, oh, the weird guy wearing the horns, or I don't know who people were trying to say, oh, he was just a peaceful guy and he never walked through a window. Boom! A couple seconds later, we got reporters like Mr. Riley who will say, well, actually, look at this video. Here he is walking through a broken window. And so that's the thing. They don't understand that in this post-truth world that Donald Trump lives by, and that they think they can live by. They don't understand that this is just a Jim and Tammy Faye Baker scam. He wants their money. He wants them to do his dirty bidding for him. And at the end of the day, he goes back to PTL land and they go to jail. At the end of the day, their lives are ruined because they broke the law, and his life, it just keeps going on because until now, Donald Trump is above the law. But again, make no mistake of it. You know, Fox News can try to redefine this any way they want to redefine this. Congressmen who were helping Capitol cops from having people break through doors and shoot up the House chamber can lie about it a couple of weeks later and say that, oh, they were just tourists. But we've got something called video. And it shows still that it was a riot, it was an attempted insurrection, and they keep going to jail. And so for those who think they're going to screw with the NYPD today, stay on the other side of the bridge. It's not going to go well. Even if they come into New York City and break the law, they're going to jail. It's pretty simple. Break the law, go to jail. There is no post-truth world when it comes to the court system, right?
Pretrial detention.
No, certainly so.
Yeah, Rikers. And by the way, one-way ticket, too. Somebody said it. Rikers. Have a good day.
Over the long bridge there to Rikers Island. Yeah, there is certainly the NYPD specializes, particularly post 9/11, in real shows of force, and they safeguard major events. No city holds more of them. They'll be just fine if insurrectionists show up either today or tomorrow. But to your point, yes, there's been a consistent effort to whitewash, to downplay what happened on January 6th by so many on the right. Yes, a leading cable news network and its top host, as well as many figures in the Republican Party, lawmakers, some who have positions of real prominence now in the Republican-controlled House of Representatives. We're also seeing on the 2024 campaign trail, candidates, potential Republican candidates for president, are largely ignoring January 6th, except for a few comments from Mike Pence. No one using that as a means to attack Donald Trump, to say he's not qualified for office because, of course, they are so afraid of alienating his supporters. But there is video, Joe. This is the most documented crime scene in the history of the United States. That's per the FBI. There's video, there is evidence, those people are going to jail, and we should note, there is an open investigation by Jack Smith, the special counsel, into Donald Trump's role that day, too. He is not out of legal jeopardy either.
NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley, thank you for bringing your reporting today. And former Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson, thank you as well
Thanks,
for your
Secretary.
insight. And